the SAVE Act is something that has been kind of put on by the Republicans onto the current budget bill, primarily instigated by former President Trump and also Speaker Mike Johnson. And they really are willing to consider, not balancing, not being able to push the budget forward, and therefore shutting down the government to try and get this SAVE Act passed. What is it? It stands for Safeguard American Eligibility. And on the surface, it's about non-citizen voting, about having proof of identification to vote. And it turns out that this problem is really not a problem. It's very rare for non-citizens to vote. That is actually already illegal. And in 2016, for instance, they estimated that 0.0001% of votes cast were by non-citizens. That makes up to a grand number of 30. There is no evidence whatsoever that has ever affected the outcome of any U.S. election. So why fight this fight? Why does anyone care? First of all, I think it clearly can go into that narrative of uncertainty about the accuracy of election events, results, so that they can claim stolen elections. But to me, the sort of bigger and maybe more quiet part of why it's becoming a thing is it allows them to disenfranchise a lot of women. See, with this act, the federal government can remove names from voter rolls. It's the federal government, it's not the states that can do this. And then in order to get yourself put back on the voter roll to prove that you're a citizen, you have to show identification such as a passport or one of those real IDs with a little star on it. I just took my mother to the DMV to get one of those star real IDs. And let me tell you, it took an hour of time at the DMV. It took a trip to the safety deposit box to get the marriage license with the embossing on it to prove that it was real. So it's quite a deal to ask women to go through this process. And so if you're lucky enough to have the passport or the real ID, you've spent the money, you've spent the time, you should be okay to vote. But otherwise, you need to have both a current photo ID, like your regular driver's license, and a birth certificate that matches that name. But a lot of us don't have birth certificates that match our names on our IDs. Something like 90% of married women in the U.S. change their name. So the names don't match. So now you've got to get your embossed birth certificate, you've got to get your embossed marriage license to show up to prove that you're you. And the National Organization of Women estimates that something like 34% of all women could be turned away from the polls because of the SAVE Act. So I think that they're very aware that women are very angry about our rights being taken away, and this is a very clever way to make sure a lot of us don't get to express that opinion at the poll. And I think that if that doesn't pass this time, we're going to see it come up again, because I think it is definitely a strategy on the part of the Republicans. So, thank you.